Get out my face, ho. Get out my face, ho. Yeah, bitch, yeah.
Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bargain Basement episode. We didn't look what number it was. 6?
I think it's like
5, 6? I don't know. Whatever episode it is.
whatever episode is in the title is a fucking
yes,
episode.
that's what episode it is. My name is Keegan. I'm one half of Level 2 Gamers. Hey, out Tom, the other half of Level 2 Gamers. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. For those of you who don't know what Bargain Basement is a weekly, that is once a week, show every Thursday. I always think of saying Friday because VR used to be Thursday, but every Thursday we will give you the latest news in the industry, the latest sales in the industry, games,
Newest games,
and give you some gameplay at the end. The game we find, usually it's a new game that we find on PSN and or Xbox. The one we're doing today is an Xbox game.
Yeah.
That we got from the developer. But let's start off like we normally do. News. Basically, hold on to your butts, guys. There's one thing
hold on to
that we're going to talk about, and that is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Did you hear the little thing called Star Wars Celebration happened over the weekend?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah.
Tell me
Really?
about it.
You're messing with me, right?
No.
Star Wars Celebration?
Mm-mm.
The big Star Wars convention where they announced, like, I don't know, The Last Jedi. and-
Oh, I saw that.
yeah.
I saw the.
So Star Wars Celebration is a convention where they announced
I
all this
didn't know
shit.
that was a special like convention for
Yes.
Star Wars people.
Yes.
I just
the cosplay
saw
is really cool.
There
I
was a
gotta show you some of the
YouTube
cosplay.
video, like literally
By the way, I'm going to move my beef jerky here
on
because it's
on YouTube.
driving me crazy.
They had the Last Jedi trailer, and then right after it was fan reaction to Last Jedi trailer, which was I assume at that conference because they had Mark Hamill and stuff.
Yes.
It was really cool. The
So
fans lost their mind.
it's like E3 for Star
Let's
Wars.
talk about that trailer real quick, actually. Just real quick. Did you
Mhm.
like it? Last Jedi?
It was interesting. It scared me at the beginning.
Jump scared you?
Yeah, when she went
When she puts her hand
her
down?
hand down. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm interested to see what Luke means when he
End
says
of the Jedi.
End of the Jedi. Does that mean conspiracy can go on forever, but does that mean end of like bringing? Because if you look at Star Wars, to bring balance to the Force from the Jedi's perspective, is everybody becomes light. That's not balance. That's, hey, come over here because we think we're better. But you have to have dark to have light. So is he like, hey, Jedi need to end because they believe for it to be balanced, there has to only be Jedi. There only has to be the Force in this way of things. Versus Luke saying that needs to end. We need a new regime of how we approach this.
I see you've thought way deeper into it than I
Yes.
did. Yeah. I was just like, maybe he realizes that the Jedi's haven't done shit for all the years that they've been there, and they're
No.
still fighting.
I think
the same
there's
fucking
more
assholes.
beyond that.
Interesting.
So
What do you think that Luke meant at the end of the trailer for The Last Jedi?
and
Let us know.
whose helmet do you think that was? That do you think that was Kylo Ren's, or do you think that was?
I think it was Vader's helmet
Vader's.
crushed.
Yeah.
I think someone like stopped.
because there's two rumors. There's the two guesses is it was Vader's or it was Kylo Ren's.
Kylo Ren's not my favorite character. Like
I like Kylo
I
Ren.
like.
He's way better than Anakin.
He was like pretty scary and everything when he first came
By the
out.
way,
But when you see his face, you're suddenly not afraid.
Do you see the picture of what's his name that played Anakin? Hayden Christensen and Mark Hamill together.
Yeah.
And people are like, no. And it's like, dude, he's a human. Leave him alone. I mean, you can give as much. He didn't write the script. And I think he did a decent,
The trailer did a good job of
Getting me
hyping
excited.
it. And, you get to see Rey
Showed you
kind of starting to learn
enough.
her stuff a little bit. It definitely has vibes of Empire Strikes Back and the fact that I think it will end
the Yoda
badly.
The Yoda chip thing when I'm trying to think of the shot where it's Rey on the island learning and she looks out in the ocean. All I can think of is like Luke being like, and now raise the ship from the water with me on your back.
Right.
I don't think Rey could hold Luke on her back though. Yoda's a little bit smaller and a
Yeah.
puppet. Luke's not a puppet.
Anyway.
The other thing is it has been confirmed that Carrie Fisher
It's not going to be. Yeah.
is going to be
Not in the 9th
in episode 8. She's not going to be in episode 9.
Mhm.
So
That's fine.
Star Wars
I'm
news.
okay with that.
Continuing with Star Wars news that is
Yeah.
actually game related, Star Wars Battlefront 2 had been announced at Star Wars Celebration 2017. Let me give you Star Wars Battlefront 2 Deluxe Edition and pre-order bonuses detailed. This is from VG 24/7, my favorite place to get video game news.
They didn't pay him to say that either.
No. I go to them, I go to IGN, and I go to GameSpot, but they have the most concise way of going through the news versus because they do just video games versus IGN and GameSpot are like movies as well, so it's easy to just pull from
Fair
here.
enough.
But anyways, first up, pre-ordering gets you the Last Jedi theme. Looks for Kylo Ren and Rey. So fun fact.
So they're just dressed like they are in The Last Jedi.
So this comes out before the movie. This comes out in November. The movie comes out in December. So this will be the first view of what they're going to look like in the movie.
I mean, there's probably going to be another trailer release, several trailers.
But it's going to give you more information. Yeah. That's what they did last time too.
It would be cool.
Jakku. Jakku came out before we knew about. Oh God,
that's true.
So, this also includes the ability modifiers for each of them, as well as ability modifiers for the Millennium Falcon and an unnamed First Order hero ship. So hero ships are back, which means you can fly as the Millennium Falcon and or apparently the First Order. They had Boba Fett's ship, and I think they had Vader's X-Wing. Wow, TIE Fighter.
Do they have any Rogue One content in it? Is that the
It's from all eras. So
good.
They did not specifically say Rogue One.
I said this in the podcast,
eras.
but the Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I love that movie to death. Way more than I thought I was going to. Let me just say that.
So, buying the Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition for $80 gets you 3 days early access, unlocking the game on November 14th instead of street date November 17th. Which if you pre-order a game, I don't have an issue with you getting it early. Some people do. I think that's cool because you're letting your fans like, hey, you support it. Our podcast is on
why you just debated this.
On why not to. But
that's a decent bonus.
But to me, that's fine. Like, hey, you're supporting this game. We'll let
you get a little bit early.
Sure, why not? As for the deluxe edition exclusive content, you're getting upgraded for all 4 classes. Here's what it entails: Elite Officer Upgrade Pack, the Blurg. I love that word. Blurg. It's 2 R's, BLURRG, 1120 blaster, enhanced grip modification, and battle command epic ability. That makes me sound like you'll be able to modify your weapons, which is kind of cool. They didn't have that in the first one. It's like you had this gun or that gun.
Would definitely add some depth to it.
Heavy metal upgrade pack, the FWMB-10 Mega Blaster and barrel vent modification and personal shield epic ability. Armored assault upgrade pack, the CR-2 with trigger modification, and the Grenade Epic ability, and Master Specialist upgrade ability, the A280-CFE Blaster Rifle, and Scope modification, and Laser Trip Mine Epic ability. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is out November 17th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
So you get the Last Jedi stuff, and then a bunch of
everybody gets Last Jedi stuff if you pre-order.
Okay,
that is only if you get the deluxe edition. You get those mods.
Gotcha. So you get weapon mods, clothing mods, etc. If you get the deluxe, but everyone else
gets the
theme
and the clothes
and gets the Jedi stuff.
Yep.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not great. I'm not a big fan of like small modifications as bonuses. I mean, to me, that's not worth the extra $20 or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. What do you? This could be a topic in its own. But EA and Origin Access subscribers, so you pay the $5 or whatever it is for EA Access.
Yeah, for
get stuff
Xbox
early.
Guys.
Yeah. November 9th. Remember, the pre-orders get it the 14th. Game comes out 17th. That's early.
That's a good reason to support that EA Access thing. I've always been interested in that. They haven't done it for PlayStation yet, to my knowledge, anyway. But
PlayStation came out and said they will never do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shitty kind of way to do it, but at the same time, $5 a month is so small for the amount of content you get there. So it's I'm not mad about it. $5, I'll pay for $5 a month. I'll do pretty much those things. So that's
careful what you say.
That came out really wrongly.
Judging by how there's no specific details, but judging on how EA handled similar launches in the past, expect 1 or 2 missions from the single player campaign to be playable with unrestricted access to multiplayer. During Star Wars Celebration, it was revealed Battlefront 2 will introduce 4 classes in multiplayer and a single player story told from the perspective of an elite Imperial Special Forces unit called Inferno Squad.
I had some news for this that I'm actually going to save for tomorrow for the VR section that is related to this game. By the way. So I thought I would.
So check out tomorrow if you want to know the VR news.
Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. With VR.
Here is the big things.
Let's do it.
Ready. Star Wars Battlefront 2 story campaign details, space battles, and other things you may have missed this weekend.
Single player, you motherfuckers.
Where is?
Side note: if you're gonna make a game like Star Wars Battlefront, you have so much potential for an awesome cinematic single-player campaign, especially with the photorealism that you were putting out in the first game as far as the graphic abilities. Just make the single player. I mean, this is good news because this is going to be, like we said a little bit in the podcast, for fans of Star Wars that aren't necessarily gonna get a full enjoyment out of an online shooter because they're not very good at it or whatever. So I'm super pumped on this.
As the extended trailer hints, Star Wars Battlefront 2 will have a full story campaign starring a new character, Iden Versio.
Is that the girl in the trailer?
Is a member of the Inferno Squad, a troop of Imperial Special Forces, which happens to be on Endor to witness the defeat of the Empire and destruction of the Death Star at the end of Return of the Jedi. So this is happening when thing goes boom and Ewoks celebrate. This is what the Imperials are doing.
They're like, fuck you guys, we're going to get some revenge.
The story continues on spanning between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens and feature segments playing as other characters besides Iden, including Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren.
Oh,
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is canon, by the way.
Really?
Its events touch on Operation Cinder. Inferno Squad will be featured in the new novel releasing in July. So this is canon. So if you want the Star Wars story, canon.
That's a pretty big deal. Yeah. Were any of the other ones canon?
No, Disney wiped everything clean. So anything Disney's had their hands on, or since Star Wars, Disney owned Star Wars, yes. So Battlefront, yes. Battlefront 2, yes. Rebels,
it wasn't really much in the way of a single player or anything, though. So
no.
Like, so
you saw the
really
Jakku and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, good point. But yeah, that's awesome news. That means you're going to get a little bit more out of it if you're a Star Wars fanboy as well.
So this was interesting because you're doing it from the dark side of the thing, and most people are like, "Oh, play hero."
Choice.
So Dice wanted to tell another side of the story with Star Wars Battlefront 2, which means we'll get to see the Empire in a different light to that cast by the films. New locations include a city called Vardos, which is described as an imperial utopia, which is interesting because, like, I mean, obviously, movies, you want to, at the end of it, you want the good guys to win. Everybody's happy, cheerful. Vader burns his mask, all that kind of stuff. But, like, what happened to the Empire? Because the Empire didn't just disappear. And that's kind of what I feel Force Awakens was like the Empire never really disappeared. They kind of sucked without the Emperor, but what is the Empire without the Emperor and without Vader?
Yeah.
If you cut the head off of a government, shit goes to hell, and you got to figure out what to do. So, like, let's look at like Iraq.
I wonder
when Iraq lost Saddam Hussein, a lot of instability happened.
Yeah.
So same thing here.
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be a situation similar to Starkiller with the Force Awakens, not the Force Awakens, the Force Unleashed, where he was kind of like, he was initially a pupil of Vader that sort of flipped and started taking on the Empire instead. Like whether it's going to start dark side and then end up Rebels. I mean, that would be my thought, but who knows? Exciting to see.
Yeah, I know. So get this out of the way. I said in the podcast, I'm excited to see what this game is because this has got my attention so far. I'm super enthralled with
paid
it.
$120 for the original Star Wars.
Not doing that again.
Not super happy about it, so you're skeptical to say the least.
I'm excited about this game. I'm skeptical because I paid the money before, then I was not happy.
I think they have the ability to
knock it out of the park.
To really, really knock it out of the park. Yeah, like to make the ultimate Star Wars video game experience that is not in like VR or whatever.
Yeah.
For fans of the single player campaign idea and also for the multiplayer. As long as the single player holds up and the multiplayer has been tweaked to a point where it's more interesting than just pew pew, then it should be good.
As for multiplayer, DICE has confirmed that yes, Star Wars Battlefront 2 content spans all eras, prequels, Clone Wars, original trilogy, and sequel trilogy.
That's super dope.
Which is interesting because people are like, oh, the Clone Wars. Clone Wars is a fun time in Star Wars history.
Yeah.
You may think what you want about the movies, but it is an interesting time to battle in. It'll be interesting to see when they say that, how in depth they go in each. Is it going to be like, again, you're gonna have it as deep as a puddle, as wide as an ocean?
Well, it's a multiplayer, so I don't think they can go super deep. I think they're probably just going to touch on things aesthetically and maybe some.
How cool would it be to fight a Jedi Temple? Like, there's a thing of the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, that's more something I think you would find in a single player, which I don't think we're going to.
Because
they have this kind of side story going on.
But even if that's
I think it's going to be aesthetic only. I don't think there's going to be like. I mean, maybe some of the missions, they may have like a story mission for each area, you have like capture the point or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have the Jedi Temple involved in that. Like you have to defend the Jedi Temple or the opposite.
As previously noted with the leaked trailer, by the way, did you see that leaked trailer for PS4? Yeah. So as previously noted with the leaked trailer, Last Jedi characters will appear, including extra content available as pre-order bonuses, costumes for Rey and Kylo Ren, extra heroes, and the Last Jedi Millennium Falcon and First Order TIE Fighter. Speaking of ships, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has a proper space battles for up to 24 players and many new kinds of ships and ground vehicles, Tauntauns included.
Nice.
You can ride a Tauntaun. Specific powerful ships will be treated like heroes were in the first game. Speaking of heroes, the system has been overhauled somewhat for Star Wars Battlefront 2. DICE did not give full details, but said heroes will feel less arcadey and will be upgradable and customizable in some way.
Oh, good.
Finally, there will be a proper class system this time. Again, we don't have full details, but we know one of the special editions of Star Wars Battlefront 2 comes with upgradable versions of the 4 trooper classes, which were listed as Officer, Assault, and Specialist. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is expected to be released towards the end of 2017 at EA's big holiday title. 17th is the official date. So there's that. The other bit of news that made me kind of excited, and then I read the second part of this sentence.
All Star Wars all the time.
Yes, all Star Wars. That's all your news is this week. Star Wars Battlefront 2 won't have a season pass. If you remember, the season pass last year was $50. I paid the $50 plus the deluxe edition.
Pretty eccentric.
DICE
price.
has
Yeah.
something different planned.
Microtransactions?
I'm guessing.
Yeah. It's got to be.
So, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was announced over the weekend at Star Wars Celebration. Although the official trailer was brief, there's plenty of details shared by developer DICE at the event. Some of the information pertains to the game's post-launch support and should make fans of the original very happy. Developer confirmed to Mashable that Battlefront 2 will not have a season pass. Though this does not always mean there won't be DLC packs, creative director Bernard Dimmer went to clarify his comment further. We decided that, and it's one of those difficult decisions because it has so many implications all around, he said. When we looked at Battlefront had evolved over its lifetime with the DLC and everything, we decided, you know what? For this type of game, season passes are not the best thing. We need to take it apart and come up with something better. Deemer added, DICE does not want to segment the community and confirm that post-launch plans will be revealed at a later date.
Not wanting to segment the community sounds like all the DLC will be free.
Yes, and then you'll have probably weapon mod upgrades or something like that. We have something different in mind that allow you to play longer, be more invested in the game without having a fragmented community. Interestingly, following Dietmar's comments, EA provided a statement that says it's not ready to confirm post-launch plans just yet, which could just mean they haven't been finalized. It's unlikely the game's creative director is incorrect, though. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is out November 17th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Keep telling us the date. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they definitely want to keep the community together, which is good. That means that more than likely it's going to be, free DLC, but then they have to replace that with something of a similar nature. So the question is, how bad is what they're going to replace it with?
My thought is going to be, it's going to be the mod up, because if the mod upgrades are pre-orders bonuses, that's going to be something big in the game. So, my voice is cracked. Big in the game. So that's going to be something that they're going to work with and deal with. So I'm hoping, like, if they do that and it doesn't become pay to win, or it doesn't become like the Halo of like buy X amount of things to buy a thing in the game, like Elder Scrolls style, where it's if it affects the game to the point where somebody has a competitive advantage from buying stuff, then it's an issue.
Yeah.
If it's, hey, get a new skin, get a weapon upgrade, and it does help your gun a little bit, but not to the point of like breaking the game, fine with it. Like if somebody, so here's a prime example. Scope. Say you have a sniper rifle that has a stock scope on it. You can pay $2.99 to get a upgraded scope, or pay whatever the equivalent of in-game currency is to get an upgraded scope. Or you can wait till level 25 to get that upgraded scope.
That's fine. As long as there's an option for both.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of an issue with that still, because that person still has a competitive advantage, but they invested more into the game than the other person.
And I think if you're going to waste your money on that type of thing without actually playing the game, then sure.
I mean, I've wasted my money.
As long as it's like the stuff that you can get that is not accessible through normal means of playing the game is what pisses me off. So
yes.
I'd be okay with that.
And I got one more piece of news that is not Star Wars related. This is actually hot off the press Tuesday, which is today we record. 1 terabyte PlayStation 4 Slim model will be made available in the USA later this month. The USA later this month.
Cool.
Sony will release the 1 terabyte Slim model in North America later this month. This news was tweeted earlier by the official PlayStation account. $299 for a 1 terabyte PlayStation Slim. I think it's a much needed upgrade because 500 gigs, as we know, is not enough.
Not in this day and age, man. But I do want to thank Sony for making that expandable storage thing an option, because that's changed the game. No pun intended. for me, as far as like digital versus physical and things like that. The fact that I could just go out and buy a 4 terabyte and fill that fucker up, which means I also don't have to, swap out discs and that kind of annoyances. Because I'm a lazy slob. Like, you can tell by looking at me that I'm lazy. And I hate having to get up to, like how quickly you agree with that I change the discs out and stuff. So I like being able just to cancel out and go in.
At this time, Sony has not provided a shelf date for the 1 terabyte PS4 Slim. However, GameStop has it listed for an April 20th 420 release.
Ooh, interesting.
So that's
420, huh?
literally the day this, that's the
huh?
day this goes up, right? No, that'll be yesterday.
I thought I had the date on my watch. I don't anymore.
You're not
My Apple
fancy
Watch
enough.
broke.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, why'd you do that?
I didn't break it. It just like the flap came up.
Oh,
So Cody from
old
the
school.
Dream Saga gave me this. It's a
Give me the old
bleach
school
watch. I really like it.
Yeah, so the 20th is so it'll be. You'll know by the time this goes out whether it's released or not. We don't know at this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're at this point, you're late to the game if you're just buying one now. But this gives another option for something that's a bit closer to the Pro. The question now is, is it really worth dropping that money on a slim version of the regular PlayStation?
Or get $100 for the Pro.
You can get the Pro, and the Pro has already got a terabyte hard drive inside of it. So it's
again, I think it's
makes
two.
it more-
I think it's two different types of people. If you're getting somebody, again, if you're thinking the casual gamer who maybe picks up 2 to 3 games a year, Slim's perfect answer. If you're somebody like us who plays games pretty regularly, then the Pro makes total sense.
it's so weird, like the whole Pro thing. Like I'm still a little bit annoyed I had to buy it, and I
You don't have to.
Well, physically, like my body was telling
You didn't have to.
I would turn into Reggie Fils-Aimé. I was like, my body is ready. But now my worry is that every time the new console comes out, I'm gonna be like, well, should I wait a year and get the Pro version? Like, so that's frustrating. But that aside, it is nice.
As
to
somebody
have
who has not bought the Pro yet, of all of our friends, I think I'm the last one who didn't buy the Pro.
Hmm.
I'm perfectly satisfied with my launch PS4. I did have to buy a new controller, which I like the new controller.
They're cool.
I'm a fan of them. The reason I had to change it because my trigger on for Ghost Recon wouldn't drive the car.
Oh.
It would only stay in first gear.
That's a
It
problem.
wouldn't go to second gear.
Yeah.
So I bought the new one, and the battery on it is so much longer.
Mhm.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I now don't have to charge it and switch
I
halfway
only
through
have
gaming
one.
session.
I didn't buy a second one yet, so
I
I'm
have
grateful for that battery.
I have one, but I have the 2 original because the 2 controllers still work. The only
Yeah.
game they don't work in, they don't
I
work
gave them
in-
away when I sold my PlayStation.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah. Well, the other guy was grateful. So I could have just not given him control.
Yeah, make him buy it. So that's your news. Basically, Star Wars and new PS4.
Star Wars all day.
I'm excited for Star Wars. Like I
Yeah.
said, I probably won't pre-order it. I say that, but I probably will at some point, knowing me.
Question is, will you
guys get it?
pre-order it or not, based upon your experiences with the first Battlefront Star Wars game?
So with that, let's move on to the sales for the Xbox One, maybe the Xbox 360 as well. So heading into the sales.
Let's do it.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.